Oh, jeez. Hey, there we go, Smithers. I'm Smithers. Well, maybe you are. And maybe I'm Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns. Hattie, right? For Austin Matthews. Hattie for Austin Matthews, absolutely. Right? And Mitch Marner gets the game-winning goal. Boom! Slays the Kraken again. Boom! Death blow. Right? Thevis is happy about what he sees with the mustaches in there, that's for sure. Guys, nice to see you all. Nice to see you all. Thanks for coming out, man. Spread the word. Spread the word that this is what we're doing after every game, okay? So if you got friends on Twitch or friends on Instagram or whatever, tell them to come on by at some point, man. We do this every time. It's a lot of fun, and we're making friends along the way. There's some interesting channels we've hooked up with, and we're going to continue to explore more and meet new people on this thing we call the internet, all right? So thank you to everybody here for joining me tonight, all right? The big question you know that's going to happen, though, is how do the Leafs keep struggling against bad teams, you know what I mean, bad teams that are going to miss the playoffs, and do better, at least, against the good teams for the most part? Why? Why is this happening, Smithers? You know what I mean? That's going to be the big question, and it's such an obvious one, you know? To me, it's an obvious one. Whoever Toronto faces is playing their best hockey most nights. There's a few teams in the league that I think they're confident in themselves enough to know they don't have to go all out against Toronto, and they can still come up with a win. But most teams, when they come face-to-face with Toronto, they know all the cameras are watching. They know all the family back home up north of the border or other provinces, wherever you are. They know all the families watching because, oh boy, it's against the Leafs. You know that's going to be highlight reel stuff. Every game, right, that the Leafs face is their opponent's best games on most nights. That's how much it means to them to play against Toronto. We saw it firsthand with Winnipeg, and look what happened to them. They fell off the map shortly after that. Now they've kind of chiseled their way back into it a little bit. I don't know. I don't give them enough attention apparently. And why would I? Boring. They got all hot-headed because they beat Toronto. Is there anything better? Yeah, how about making the playoffs? That's better than beating Toronto in a regular season game. But they ran their mouths and now they're paying the price for it, right? You look at a team like Buffalo the other night. Buffalo beat us 5-1. Well, I just watched the highlights of, I think it was Buffalo, Florida. One of the top teams. I think it was Florida or Tampa, or maybe it was Carolina. I don't know. But one of the number one in the East kind of teams. I think it was Florida. Right? Go up against Buffalo, and Buffalo got destroyed. It's exactly the kind of game all the people that have been following the Leafs would have expected the Leafs to get against a team like Buffalo. Not me. I don't think that anymore. I realized the pattern. Watch the way Buffalo played against Florida versus against Toronto. All right? I don't just mean scoring the goals. I mean the whole attitude of the game. Buffalo was so quickly defeated against Florida mentally. It took one goal. One goal against, and you could just see that look on all the Sabres' faces of oh, geez, here we go again. We're going to get lit up. They knew they were beat after the first goal. Nobody does that against Toronto. Nobody gives Toronto that amount of mental leverage over themselves because everybody in the league wants to beat Toronto more than anybody else for the most part, the majority. I can admit there's probably some other rivalries, Pittsburgh, Philly type stuff, maybe, Boston, Montreal kind of thing. There's probably some other rivalries out there that people get pretty jazzed up for, or even more so, but come on, let's be real. We see it online, we see it on TV, we see it with players, we see it with fans. Right? Everybody wants to beat Toronto. So if you want to know why Toronto Maple Leafs struggle against lower level teams a lot of times, it's because they don't get to take a night off. The Leafs can't afford to take a night off because there's always some little jerk right behind them nipping at their heels, trying to get their little spotlight on the camera for tonight, trying to get their little shine. And they should. I'm not even disrespecting that. So please don't use some of this earlier stuff and think that's what I'm actually saying about these guys. They should be doing that. Why not? Take advantage of it. But that's what I'm saying, though. We have to just acknowledge that, all right? The Leafs play everybody's best because of Toronto. So that doesn't excuse their defensive lapses and stuff, right? Just because you're now going up against everybody's best doesn't mean that you can actually take that night off then. You got to be more structured. You got to play a safer brand of hockey, right? Instead of high risk, low reward, you got to take low risk with the Leafs because in a moment's notice they can score 2 more goals. In a moment's notice, they can rack up 2 goals against you. That's how good the Leafs offense is when they attack. Just stop attacking all the time. You know what I mean? They just need to stop attacking all the time. They need to tighten up to the point where they can relax, you know, show mental dominance over a team, chill for a minute, show that it's like a bigger brother playing with the little brother in the driveway. You know what I mean? He can have the ball 3 times in a road hockey game against his little brother and score all 3 times. And every other second, the little brother's got the ball and they're not getting any shots or nothing because the older brother's obviously bigger and stronger. But that's the point. If you're better at hockey, you can chill, man. You don't have to have the puck all the time. The Leafs can learn to do that. They will go from a very good team, which I think they are for sure, to that cup level team that I'm hoping they'll be. But that's a tough thing to do. That's a big ask. You know what I mean? It is. It is. I'm not trying to diminish that mental change. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing to master your own mind, especially as a professional athlete. But for those of us watching at home that want to talk about what the Leafs need to do, if they do that, that's it. I'm happy because then all the defense, all the smart hockey play will all fall into place. Just that mental change of we are gonna play calmly. We're gonna hold back when we need to. Just tighten up. Let them tire themselves out. Hold them at the forehead like those cartoon cat and dog or whatever, the 2 dogs or something. You know what I mean? So that's it, right? But maybe they don't have to change anything about their play. If they can change that mental side, they can still give up 4 goals a game. I mean, they're going to score 5 or 6 or 7 if they're feeling good every time. When the Leafs are mentally having a good time, their scoring actually does make up for everything else. Isn't that what we're learning? As much as I hate that style of hockey, and I do, man. All offense, no defense makes me sick. I get too nervous watching it. That's why. It's not that I'm like disgusted by them as people. I mean, I get sick watching it because it's just, oh, that defensive lapse hurts and oh, that one really hurts. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Maybe they don't have to. Maybe they can just keep getting hat tricks and you know, scoring tight goals when they need to, setting records for all that kind of stuff. Maybe they can go after Rocket Richard trophies every year, and that'll make up for a lot of this stuff. Maybe. I hope it does. It seems to be working for them. So if it's working for them, just leave it alone. And I just say before we get to the comments here, because I see Papa Thrash just saying something awesome, right? But before we get to that, oh, you joined the big league, Smithers. Hey, thanks for following along, man. Thanks for subbing there. With the Prime Gaming, nice. That's a smart way to do it. Folks, if you got Prime Gaming, hey, subscribe along. I think it's all connected, right? All right, thank you very much for that. But that's exactly it. Leave Campbell in net. They're going to give up 4 or 5 goals a game now. That's it. That's their style. The Leafs are going to give up 3, 4, or 5 goals a game. And as long as they keep scoring 5, 6, or 7, most nights, I mean, they could win. They could win it all doing it that way. They really could. So, everybody just chill out. I told you they were still winning. People knocked me because they lost a couple of games twice. And I was still saying that the Leafs just keep winning. Didn't they just lose 2 games in a row? Yes, so what? They keep winning. Overall, look, another 2 back in our favor. So the last 4 games cancel each other out. Boom, we're back on track. You know what I mean? So, thank you very much for following along, subscribing along. If you're watching this on YouTube later, thanks for the sub. Hopefully you've done it already. You know what I mean? But now I want to get into the chat before we go. I got about another 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. I want to hear what you like. Really fill the chat with comments, man. Don't hold back tonight, okay? And I do like what you said there, Papa Thrash. So we'll get into that, okay? Yeah, go Leafs, go. Indeed. They scored this bad boy up.